And welcome. Tonight is Monday, January 13th, 2020. This is the regular City Council meeting for the City of St. Peter. It is 7:00 p.m. We will call the meeting to order. Would all please join in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First big event that we have on the agenda tonight is the oath of office for 3 out of our 4 newest members. Shannon did this a couple weeks ago, so Todd, if you want to take over from here.
All right, members-elect, we'll get you sworn in, so if you would mind standing, please, and raising your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and that of the state of Minnesota, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of a council member in and for the city of St. Peter, Minnesota, to which office you have been elected to the best of your judgment and ability? If so, answer, I do.
I do.
You're sworn. Give him a hand.
Next, we're going to take a short little recess for some pictures for the new members and their families, if they so wish. It is 7:02 p.m. and we will be back shortly.
First, if you guys will sign this here.
Yep. It is 7:08 p.m. on Monday, January 13th, 2020. Next up, we have the agenda, which everyone should have a copy of. Are there any changes or corrections to the agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, everybody in favor of the agenda as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Next, we have the minutes from our December 9th, 2019 meeting. Those minutes appear on pages 6 through 9. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
I'll second.
All in favor of the minutes as written, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those minutes are approved. Next, we will address visitors. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to the council on any agenda item? Seeing no one, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to the council on any matter whatsoever? Seeing no one, we will move into the consent agenda. The consent agenda begins in detail on page 10 and concludes with the resolution, which starts on page 53 and includes the handout that everybody should have gotten, pages 54A and 54B, and then concludes finally with page 55. And it is the following budgeted purchases in excess of $10,000 to Hawkins Inc. for sodium hypochlorite for $12,000, to RDO Equipment for a grapple bucket for $14,475, to Damon Farber for construction of the Veteran Park Creative Playground for $10,500, to Cargill Inc. for 2020 road salt for $20,000, to Beehive Industries for inventory management software and training for $29,600. The St. Peter Herald is hereby designated as the official City of St. Peter newspaper during the year 2020. We also have the following institutions designated as official depositories. They are the same limits: $13 million to First National Bank, Pioneer Bank, Citizens Community Bank, and Hometown Bank. Councilman member Ed Johnson will serve as Mayor Pro Tem for fiscal 2020. The following city officials' appointments are hereby approved for 2020. City Attorney James Brandt and Assistant City Attorney Christopher Green. Next, we have Finance Director Vogel and Accountant Isley are authorized to initiate and receive automatic clearinghouse and electronic fund transactions for the city. Next, we have a list of council operation rules. I'm not going to read through all of those. Then we have, make sure I get back here to the right page. A list on item number 8 is a list of all of the assignments for council committees and liaison and boards and commissions. I'm not going to read through all of them. We discussed this at our last workshop meeting. The following board appointments: to the Civil Service Commission with a term ending December 31st, 2022, to Dennis Blankensop. For Tourism and Visitor Bureau, for terms ending 12/31/2022, to Aaron Schwab and Julie Frederickson. To the Hospital Commission, with a term ending on 12/31/2024, to Casey West. To Heritage Preservation, with a term ending of 12/31/2021, to Sharon Latinsky. The following business license applications: soft drink license to both Arby's and the Capitol Room for fiscal year 2020, a show license to Capitol Room for fiscal year 2020, solid waste hauler permits to Waste Management and to LJP Waste Solutions for fiscal year 2020, temporary on-sale liquor to Dicklet County Pheasants Forever, 400 West Union for April 4th, 2020, and also a gambling license for the same time and place. The following individuals are appointed to election judges. There are 34 of them. I thank them for their service, but I'm not going to read all of them. Next up, we have an employee appointment. William Johnson is the Fire Department Safety Officer. Also, Christy Cook for a part-time bus driver at $16.72 per hour. There is a list of surplus items that the city has, and they will be, not sure, are they going to be on min bid? Are we going to be?
We'll work with
We have a
And,
policy for that, so we'll follow the policy. Some of them
Following
aren't
the
worth putting on
policy,
there.
there we go, thank you. And plus the schedule of disbursements for November 21, 2019 through December 23rd, 2019, and December 24th, 2019 through January 8th, 2020. Are there any questions or comments concerning the consent agenda? Carrie?
Question on the commissions and the appointments for the commissions. There were some approved at the last meeting, and then it's on the agenda here, two additional names. Are there more vacancies available?
Yes, there are. We have 3 vacancies. We have a vacancy on the library board, we have a vacancy on planning and zoning, and we have a vacancy on economic development, okay, for the citizen membership.
So those can still be filled
Please.
throughout the year?
Please,
Okay.
yep.
In
So
fact-
if you have anybody that has an interest, or if you know someone, have them fill out the card, and Barb gets them to me right away.
Members, we have people that come and go throughout the year. Maybe they change jobs or move out of the community or lots of different reasons. And so there are appointments that happen throughout the entire year.
A couple of these were, we were waiting for renewals, and they did not renew, so that's why there's a couple of them that are delayed here a little bit. We still have openings, I should say.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I was wondering about the sodium hypochlorite for the pool.
Mhm.
Do they have a storage area? Is it all used at once? Is it stored? I know that that's a pretty dangerous chemical, and so I was wondering more about that process.
It is not used all at once, and it is stored separately. As you may or may not know, the pool has to receive a licensure from Nicollet County, and so there's a safety inspection that's done. And so there are actually 2 locations, one within what we would call the pool house, and a separate building just south of the pool house where chemicals are stored appropriately. And so we have to meet all the OSHA regulations, safety regulations, all those things. And if I didn't say this, it's not all used at one time. It's used throughout the pool season, the summer season.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any more questions or comments? Call the roll, please, Barb.
Councilmember Grams.
Aye.
Councilmember Blukenett.
Aye.
Councilmember DeVos.
Aye.
Mayor Zeno.
Aye.
Councilmember Ed Johnson.
Aye.
Councilmember Noel.
Aye.
Councilmember Carrie Johnson.
Aye.
Consent agenda is approved. Next, we have unfinished business, which we have none. We will move to new business. First thing up is a hospital equipment purchase request, and I think Lori is here tonight from the hospital to tell us a little bit about this. Lori, if you would give us your name and your title, please.
This week?
Tonight.
As of 5 o'clock.
As of 5 o'clock. My name is Lori Zook. My official title is Chief Financial Officer, but I'm currently also the acting CEO for the hospital at Rivers Edge. So I'm here tonight to talk to you about purchasing a chemical analyzer. These are actually this piece of equipment has three different components. This does the lion's share of the testing, lab testing at the facility. And the one that we currently have is, I think all of the internal parts have been replaced at least once. I don't think we have, maybe the on-off switch is about the only other thing that is actually part of the original equipment. To not a very good result. The tests that are run here are needed for people who are having heart attacks, who are coming in with suspected carbon monoxide poisoning. These tests need to be run quickly. When this piece of equipment is down, we end up couriering the test over to ISJ Mankato. That can take 3 to 4 hours by the time we get, especially at night, if we have to roust somebody out of bed, get them into the facility, get the stuff over to Mankato and wait for them to process. So this is something that would have come through as an emergency purchase had it died before I got here. The 3 pieces are broken out, but the full cost of the 3 pieces is $398,156.60. Throughout the first 3 years of this particular piece of equipment, there are opportunities for rebates, but we never count on that. The potential for rebates is $80,000 in the first year, $50,000 in the second, $50,000 in the third. So they are available. By the end, this cost of the system would actually be, if we received all of those rebates, $218,000. But our initial output is going to be the full $398,000. We did look at 2 other pieces of equipment, and one did not do all of the tests that we require, and the second one did not work with any of the other parts of our system.
Mayor members, this is a purchase that is recommended by both the Hospital Finance Committee and the Hospital Commission, and that's how it comes to you. For newly elected members, there's a number after which they purchase. That purchases have to come to the City Council, and this is above that number, so it's required that Council take action to approve or not, but to take action on the purchase.
Yep, Brett.
What would prevent you from getting the rebates? Because you said you don't necessarily count on getting them.
The companies can change their policies midstream. This is a 3-year program. This is not a 1-year program. So some of it is tied to the usage of the chemicals. If we're not using all of the chemicals in a timely manner, then we wouldn't get the full rebate. So it's nice to know that they're there, and it might reduce the cost of the equipment. But I don't, as a very conservative accountant, I don't bank on that.
And does the purchase price include a service agreement?
Yes.
Ed?
How long did the old one last?
Our current analyzer is, I believe, 13 years old.
Some pretty good life out of them.
Yeah, Em, go ahead.
Is it a really high-quality product that you're looking at? Something that would last maybe an equal amount of time or longer?
Yes. This is one of the top brands
Okay.
in actually all 3 components, and they work well together as a system.
Lori, is it accurate to say that this is the analyzer that has been reviewed and is most like the analyzer that you currently have in the lab?
That is correct. We would anticipate this lasting at least 10 years.
Any other questions?
Funding comes from hospital funds.
Yeah, from the hospital funds. Todd alluded to earlier, anything over $50,000. All of the things that come to us have been gone over by the hospital commission. Anything over $50,000 then comes to us. If it's less than that, the commission has the ability to just approve it on their own. Any other questions or comments? If not, the resolution approving purchase of the chemistry hematology PCT analyzer for River's Edge I can't talk today, appears on page 57. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second.
Now, any more questions or comments? Call the roll, please, Barb.
Councilmember Bruflat.
Aye.
Councilmember DeBosse.
Aye.
Mayor Ziegler.
Aye.
Councilmember Ed Johnson.
Aye.
Councilmember Noel.
Aye.
Councilmember Carrie Johnson.
Aye.
Councilmember Gomes.
Aye.
Resolution is approved. Next up, we have, thank you, Lori.
Thanks, Lori.
Next up, we have a request for city assistance for the Polar Bear Plunge event. Another year, the way it looks, Todd.
Another year, Mr. Mayor and members. Starting on page 58 is the information in your packet related to the Polar Bear Plunge request. As you know, this is hosted by the Office of the Sheriff, Dave Lang in Nicollet County. They're looking to have the Polar Plunge event on February 1st at Hallett's Pond at 1 o'clock. The city provides assistance in a number of different ways, the two principal of which are providing bleachers. We have a couple of sets of movable bleachers that are taken to the site on the south side of the pond. And then also we provide for cutting of the hole that these crazy people then jump into in the very, very cold water. And so that's what we do. They're required to provide insurance, $1.5 million, as is your policy. And again, any other information that you might need, I hope, is provided for in the documentation. The resolution providing approval for this and the activities that Pete's crew primarily undertakes, again, putting the bleachers there and cutting open the hole, are on page 60.
Questions? Do we know how many years this has been?
I don't know, not off the top of my head.
I don't know if you put it in here, but I did. The resolution authorizing use of Hallett's Pond for the Polar Plunge appears on page 60. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Now, any questions? Call the roll, please, Barb.
Councilmember DeBosse.
Aye.
Mayor Ziegler.
Aye.
Councilmember Ed Johnson.
Aye.
Councilmember Noel.
Aye.
Councilmember Carrie Johnson.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Bruflat.
Aye.
Resolution is approved. Next up, we have a 2019 equipment certificate purchase for the fire department.
Mayor and members, the information starts on page 61. This comes to you as a budgeted item, but since we are using equipment certificate funds, it is the council policy that any equipment certificate purchases must come before the council as a separate agenda item. So this is why you see this as a separate agenda item within your packet. This is to use 2019 funding and a grant for $157,000 to purchase self-contained breathing apparatus equipment for the fire department. This is a replacement of equipment, not new or additional equipment. This is a slight change in process related to how we've purchased equipment in the past for the fire department. In the past, we'd buy a few pieces, a few tanks, a few masks, a few every year or two. The struggle that we had with that is that from time to time, manufacturers would change specifications, items would change a little bit, and we also see that this equipment generally has an expiration date due to the fitness of the mask, the elasticity that's necessary, all of those things. So they literally have expiration dates attached to this equipment. And so we are due for a replacement. Our goal tonight is to ask you to not only spend equipment certificate dollars, but to accept the grant of $157,000 to make this purchase. Again, the information is in your packet on page 61 with the authorizing resolution on page 62.
Questions? Steve?
Todd, you know what each particular outfit would cost?
Steve, I'm sorry I don't know what each firefighter's unit would cost, but it is made up primarily of hood, mask, hosing, tank, regulator. So those are the primary components of that.
So what happens to the old equipment then?
The old equipment will be disposed of, and it will likely come back to you as a surplus item. There are some items that may have some value for other departments that aren't quite expired yet, but the remainder, frankly, will be disposed of appropriately because they have expired.
Do you know what federal agency supplied the grant?
It is through Homeland Security, and there is a subset of Homeland Security that provides for what are called AFG grants, but I'm sorry, I don't recall the subset, but it's through Homeland Security.
Okay, thanks.
These are grants that are offered on a yearly basis, and you've received them in the past. Generally, the AFG grants have an area of focus that they're trying to work on, and this happens to be a match for us this year, and we're very happy to get those dollars.
Is that the same federal agency that provides grants for replacement of fire trucks?
It is.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? The resolution authorizing the purchase of self-contained breathing apparatus equipment funded by the 2019 equipment certificate appears on page 62. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Any other questions, comments? Call the roll, please, Barb.
Mayor Zeman.
Aye.
Councilmember Ed Johnson.
Aye.
Councilmember Noel.
Aye.
Councilmember Gary Johnson.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Bluesman. Aye. Councilmember DeVos.
Aye.
Resolution is approved. That concludes our new business. Next up, we have reports. I'm first up. Just want to extend a welcome to our new members and to our old ones, I guess, for thanks for being here, Steve and Ed, again. And hopefully for the rest of you, I guess Steve has been here a while. Ed's finishing up, halfway through a term. But I hope you find this experience to be very, very rewarding. I guess I've been here for 8 years, and most of them have been rewarding. No, it's been a good experience. So hopefully it will be for you too. That is all I have, Todd.
Mayor and members, I do have 2 items that are on the list, and then one other item that I do want to mention. First of all, city offices will be closed on Martin Luther King Day, so non-emergency offices will be closed on that Monday. As a reminder to everyone on the council, that means that your workshop is moved from that Monday to Tuesday, so from the 20th to the 21st. It'll be in room 217 at 5:30, kind of the normal location, the normal time, just a different day of the week due to that holiday. Transit will still run, although the recreation department will be closed. The community center will remain open. There's open gym times, so people can go online and see activities that are going on within the gym if they would like. The next item that I have is just to give a quick update on Census 2020. And really I want to talk just for a few moments about the Complete Count Committee, which is appointed by the City Council, which has had 2 meetings so far. Their work is focused on 2 or 3 primary missions, one of which is to make sure that people know census is going to be happening in March and April of 2020 and encourage people to participate. So it's that encouragement part and also providing information to folks about the safety of their data, how their data may or may not be used. And then the second mission is to encourage what census defines as undercounted communities to participate. And it's interesting, some people might have some notions about what that is, but in our area, undercounted communities really are 3 or 4, one of which is snowbirds. Since the census occurs in March or April, a lot of people might be traveling south, and as they receive their census material, maybe they decide they want to be counted or are counted in Arizona rather than here, as an example. So we want to encourage folks to be counted here. One of the other groups that we have is new immigrant communities. And Census is concerned about counting new immigrant communities and making sure that folks understand how to do it, have the ability to do it. Census is provided in a number of different languages here throughout the United States and in Minnesota, but encourage people to know and provide assistance to folks that need help in filling out their census materials. And then the last of which was interesting to me, is that families with young infants, oftentimes if they have a new baby, they don't count that baby because they're not going to school or anything like that. And so to encourage them to make sure that they're counting, because it's counting everyone here within our community. It's also important to note that for every person that is not counted, we lose about $15,000 in federal funding over a decade. So that's quite a little bit of money that we all pay in that we're hoping to get back if we are undercounted. So we really want to encourage people to participate and work to make it easy and provide information, and the goal of the Complete Count Committee is to do just those things. So we got a great committee and they're excited, and they'll be out doing some things and putting up posters and doing all kinds of stuff. So watch for that as we move forward. I think the last one that I want to mention to folks is that it appears that we will have a snowy week. We're looking to have snow, maybe again, and I'm no weatherman, but on Wednesday and maybe Friday, so we want to encourage people when it starts to snow, please move your cars off the street. It makes it so that Pete's crew can plow curb to curb. Clean streets are happy streets, and so we'd love it if people stay off the street so we can make sure that we plow curb to curb. Oh, one other one that I'd mention is that if you didn't happen to get off the street this time, and so we had to plow around you, we'd love it if you park a couple 100 feet away from that spot, so that when we do plowbacks, we can come and plow. Because if you park in the same spot, well, we can't plow where the snow was, so we'd like you to move a little bit if you can. We'd appreciate that assistance to make the streets cleaner. Members, that's all I have for you tonight.
All right. Anyone have anything they would like to share or add? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
All in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Good work, no bloodshed, nothing.
We're not out of here yet.
That's why he planned a short meeting.
Yeah, it's the shortest one we've had.
This is strategic.
It takes away
It's like the
6 minutes for